Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games. I just want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy new year. I want to thank you all for your support in 2019, and I'm looking forward to growing this channel together in 2020. As always, and before we get started, I want to thank MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. There's been a lot of movement in the market this week, and before we get to all that, I want to start right here with this guy, Iron-Scale Hydra, from the upcoming Theros Beyond Death set. It's one of those cards that's only going to be available in the supplementary Theme Boosters product. Before we get to the price and whether or not this price is realistic, I just want to give my sort of opinion on a move like this by Wizards. So first off, I want to say I think this is a pretty crappy move on Wizards' part. And the reason I say that is because, they're jamming cards that are only available in a supplementary product into a product that no one wants to buy. I'll tell you, as a store owner, I've had trouble selling theme boosters in the past. And the reason for that is because, maybe one or two of the colors have cards that are half decent in it. So those ones will sell and the rest of them kind of sit on my shelf and nobody buys them. It's just kind of a crappy product that nobody wants to buy. It was a bad idea from Wizards from the beginning. And now they're trying to jam product in there or cards in there that will increase the sales on an already crappy product. So it sort of forces players' hands, forces people into buying these products so that they have a chance to hit a card like this. And the chances of hitting this card, I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but this is going to take up the rare slot in that product, obviously. And there's probably 10 or 15 different rares that could end up in there. I sell them for like $10. I know other stores sell them for more or less, depending on where you're from. Remember, I'm in Canada, so $10 in Canada is probably, around the $7 mark in the US. So, I sell this for $10, so someone has to invest $10 for a chance to get a card like this. And this particular card is really going to be broken in the formats where it's legal. Obviously not great in something like Modern or Legacy, but in Pioneer or Standard, this is just going to be a busted card. You get a 5/5 Hydra for 5 in a color that's already dominating those formats. And this thing just nothing kills it in combat, period. If a creature would deal combat damage to Iron-Scale Hydra, prevent that damage. That's the key word, prevent that damage. And put a +1/+1 counter on Iron-Scale Hydra. So Death Touch doesn't kill this, Lifelink does nothing against it, nothing that would actually damage it. It's all prevented. So there's no way to kill this thing really in combat unless the creature has some sort of exile effect when it fights this thing. So, in a color where you can just fight all day long with this, you use other planeswalkers to have it force it to fight things. Basically, it just kills them, gets more counters. You can attack for days and they can't. They can block it, they can jump it, but just keeps constantly making it bigger, right? So it's going to be a very difficult creature to deal with in Standard and Pioneer. Both those formats don't have effective spells like single targeted removal that are really super effective against this. Of course there is stuff, but Noxious Grasp will get rid of this handily. But things like, well-played cards that are played in the format, like Pioneer, for example, push does nothing to this. A lot of red damage spells just won't be enough to take care of Iron-Scale Hydra. So this is a card that people are going to want play sets of to play in green, especially with Devotion coming up. This card's going to fit well into a lot of Devotion strategies. So this is a card that people are going to want play sets of. Hence the crazy price of $45. And I don't know if this price is realistic. It all depends how much some of the mass openers, open this stuff and get product into the market, right? But not a lot of it's going to get opened just in sort of general openings in stores because it's in a crappy product that people just don't want to buy, right? So, this price is going to be high. I don't know if this is a realistic price, but it's definitely, I could see this being the price where it's at because it's going to want to be a 4 of. It might as well be Mythic. A rarity kind of doesn't matter. It just sort of denotes what slot it's going to be in the theme boosters. So, this could very well be, and the price may actually end up being higher than this because, like I said, most people that play this are going to want to play 4 ofs, and they're going to be a very extremely limited supply of it out there. All right, let's talk about some cards that are actually moving the market in a positive way, and we'll start here with the Scarab God from Hour of Devastation. So at today's prices, he's basically worth triple what he was worth at the launch of the Pioneer format. And the reason for that is it turns out this guy is really good in Wilderness Reclamation decks. You know, I play Simic Flash pretty heavily on Arena. It's actually one of my favorite decks. And essentially, you just jam this guy, the Scarab God, and Wilderness Reclamation into Simic Flash, and Bob's your uncle. You got a killer deck. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the Pioneer format here. And remember, Simic Flash only wants to play on your opponent's turn anyway. So a card like Scarab God is perfect to dump mana into on your turn when you have a Wilderness Reclamation in play. So essentially what we would do is use all our mana to dump into Scarab God, create a 4/4 black zombie, and then untap our mana at the end of our turn with Wilderness Reclamation and have it up for counter spells and things of that nature on our opponent's turn. So besides this flashy new deck tech, he's just seeing general growth because of demand in the Pioneer format. I mean, he's just good value in things like Dimir control decks, you know, Sultai decks and stuff like that. So no surprise we're seeing this price. He actually came down a little bit. He peaked out, I think, around $39 earlier this week. So come down a little bit in the $33 range, but still healthy growth for sure for the Scarab God. All right, so the next one I want to bring to your attention is Absorb, and this was printed in Invasion and also Ravnica Allegiance. And this is the first card that I'm going to recommend both a buy and a sell on. And the reason for that is it's had healthy growth. Actually, both the Invasion and the Ravnica Allegiance versions have had healthy growth since the announcement of Pioneer. And no wonder, this is a really good spell. It works out really nicely in blue-white control in Pioneer. It's counter-target spell. You gain 3 life, pretty simple. But so you can see why there would definitely be demand for this in a format like Pioneer where our good quality counterspells are limited. But we've had a healthy growth for sure since the announcement of Pioneer, especially in the original Invasion printing version. So if you're not partial to original prints, you know, and that's why there is clearly a price disparity between the two printings, you know, almost $10.50 for Invasion and $1.75 for Ravnica Allegiance version. So like I said, if you're not partial to original prints, now might be a great time to consider unloading Invasion copies of Absorb that you may have kicking around, because you will have seen basically almost a doubling in price since the announcement of Pioneer. But on the other side, the Ravnica Allegiance version, I mean, this is a card that's going to be played a lot in Pioneer. I mean, look at the decks it's in, right? I mean, all kinds of, currently played a little bit in Standard, but all kinds of decks calling for this card in Pioneer for sure. So definitely a card to invest in at this price, $1.75, as investment for sort of the Pioneer format going forward. All right, and before we get into cards I'm investing in this week, as always, if you're a subscriber, I want to thank you for being here. You know, we really appreciate your support, and if not, now's a great time to consider hitting that subscribe button. We post at least 2 videos every week. All right, I want to kick things off in the investment category with Brawl decks. They've recently been restocked, and I'm selling them for $35 in my store. Remember, that's Canadian. Not sure what you get them for down in the States, but I'm assuming it's in the, you know, $25 to $30 range. And at these prices, this is a really good investment. You know, every once in a while, Wizards puts out a product that's decent as a sealed product, and I think Brawl decks kind of fall into those categories, especially this one, the one with Corvold, the Fakehurst King in it, specifically a Savage Hunger. But they're all actually pretty solid investments. They all come with a Shockland, so you know you're getting sort of $10 to $20 worth of value just right there alone, and every single one of them also has an Arcane Signet. So again, there's another sort of $8 to $10 in value. And then most of the Brawl commanders are worth in the $5 to $10 range, but this guy here is more like around the $12, $13 mark. So I mean, just those 3 cards in this deck, Corvold, Arcane Signet, and the Shockland that you get, more than pay for the value of the deck itself. So just a great time to pick these up now that they've been restocked, and I'm sure they won't last long in your local game store. All right, and the next couple I have for you guys this week under the buy category were both reprints that can be found in the Commander 2019 product. And we'll start right here with this guy, River Kelpie. So it was around $5 before the reprints, currently dropped to about the $3.50 range, which is understandable when you have a new supply injected into the market. This card's really only playable in Commander, but it is really cool. I mean, when River Kelpie or another permanent is put into a graveyard, draw a card, and the keyword being there, another permanent. A lot of permanents go in graveyards in Commander for sure. And whenever a spell is played from a graveyard, draw a card. And he has Persist, so the thing just kind of sticks around and keeps drawing you cards. Nice little sweet little draw card engine. So it's understandable that, you know, it had a value in the $5 range for sure from getting play from Commander. But the Commander 2019 reprint is like 50 cents. So, you know, a great time to grab up a bunch of these cards. And this is a long-term investment. I mean, this card's not going to go to $5 tomorrow. It takes a long time for Commander cards to kind of just get absorbed into the market. But it's not a card I see getting reprinted again anytime soon. So grabbing them up at 50 cents is one of those cards that years from now you're going to look back and it'd be worth 10 times your investment. All right, and the last one I have for you guys this week as a nice little nifty investment is Ixodron, also reprinted in Commander 2019. And we can see that the other printings were in the $1.50, $2 range. Actually, the Time Spiral one before the reprinting was around the $3 mark. It's kind of a cool little card. I mean, when it enters play, all other non-token creatures get turned face down essentially and become 2/2s. And then his power and toughness is equal to the number of face down creatures in play. So it's just a tidy way for blue to kind of turn everybody's board into a bunch of junk and then take control of the game from there. And investing in the Commander 2019 version at 35 cents a copy is just a good, again, long-term sort of investment. This is a card that eventually will be in the $2 to $3 range again, so great time to jump in. Sorry, no speculation play this week. The Theros Beyond Death spoilers are coming fast and furious, and I really want to be able to absorb those and understand them before making any recommendations on cards that will go well with that set. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this week in MTG Finance. Happy New Year to everyone. All right, bye for now.